morning and welcome to the first edition of the Customer Success Week. My name is Didier Ongena and I'm the General Manager of Microsoft Belgium and Luxembourg. During the Customer Success Week, you will see and hear about inspiring customer stories, as well as learn more about the technology platforms underneath those stories. We're amazed by the number of people that registered and are happy to be able to host you all, something that's only possible with a digital event. But let us start in 2020. 2020 was in many ways a special year. It was a year that pushed all of us to think outside of the box. We have observed that digitally advanced companies, those with facilities to work remote, those with digitized processes, were more resilient to the impact of the pandemic. We've also seen that change, when really needed, can happen extremely fast. For instance, at the beginning of the first lockdown in March, we've helped customers set up remote working solutions with Microsoft Teams and virtual desktops for thousands of employees in just a matter of days. The pandemic also pushed people to press the pause button and rethink what they do and why. This has led to a rise in creativity and innovation across the board. On top, the pandemic was the ultimate breakthrough of cloud technologies, as cloud platforms have shown the elasticity and reliability so hardly needed. There is no better way to illustrate the innovation, the technology intensity, and the strength of the cloud than through this story from UCB. UCB participated in a worldwide voluntary scientific effort to fight COVID. In particular, UCB volunteered to use their patented algorithms to map the genome of the virus. With their traditional approach and traditional hardware, this effort would have required more than 6 months. Time they and we all just didn't have. UCB reached out to Microsoft, and with the help of the Microsoft AI for Help program, UCB could leverage Azure high-performance computing, basically spinning up lots of compute power for the duration of the analysis. With this solution, they were able to do this 6 months effort in just 3 days, and as such, played a crucial role in our understanding of the virus. There has not been a period where Microsoft mission statements made more sense than today, empowering every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. As a platform company, we intend to provide our customers and partners with the tools, building block, and insights to transform businesses, processes, and products at the speed of light. We heavily rely on the many partnerships with our customers and partners to do more with technology and build innovative solutions on top of our platform. As our mission statement says, we want to empower everyone in the organization. Whether you are a citizen developer improving and automating your team's daily activities without writing a single line of code, or whether you are building a geo-redundant, highly complex application that serves hundreds of thousands of customers employing the latest advancements in artificial intelligence. We also need to think about software development processes to ensure only reliable, high quality and secure code reaches production. Yet, we keep the ability to iterate quickly. With the growth of all these apps and the many data sources underneath, it becomes increasingly difficult to understand what is available to you as a user or an employee. The last you want is that innovation doesn't reach the end users due to a complex discovery process. So let us explore how the Microsoft Cloud helps in all of this. Powering everything is Azure. We're building Azure as the world's computer, letting you create solutions that delight your customers and empower your employees. In fact, if anything, we want to give you the best tool chain, the best leverage to make your dreams come true. Like UCB uses Azure to analyze genomes, apply AI and discover new cures, many other organizations are building new state-of-the-art applications or modernizing their data centers to Azure. Azure is the intelligent cloud, providing the best tool chain for any developer, for any organization to become a technology company. The cloud alone, however, is not a fit for all scenarios. Sometimes we need to bring the cloud to the edge for latency, connectivity, or data sensitivity reasons. Azure allows to deploy intelligent services close to the action through Azure IoT and Azure Edge, while still being able to monitor and maintain those services from the cloud. Cloud applications require a rethink of the traditional time-intensive, rigid and sequential software development approaches. You want to be able to quickly iterate and respond to, for instance, customer demand or competitive pressure. DevOps, built on the principles of agile software development, is today's standard to shorten the system development lifecycle and provide continuous delivery with high software quality. With GitHub, we bring together the largest developer community, providing them the latest technology in version control, source code management, bug tracking, etc., to successfully adopt a DevOps software development approach. More than 50 million developers trust GitHub on a day-to-day basis to develop the software solutions of today and tomorrow. While Azure gives you all the tools to build anything you want, that toolset can be daunting and overwhelming for someone who is not a developer or not an IT professional. But how can we stay true to our mission of empowering everyone? How do we enable the citizen developer to unlock that same innovation? This is where the Microsoft Power Platform comes in. With the Microsoft Power Platform, everyone can unlock innovation and build applications in a short-term time span using no-code or low-code approaches. Instead of showing some of our customer successes, I want to highlight some of the applications that we as Microsoft have built to make everyday life easier and a little more productive. Our first example is our Mobility Belux applications, allowing our employees to see how many free parking spots we have in the parking garage of our Belgian offices. The My Bookings applications was built in the wake of COVID to help our employees reserve a seat in our office and avoid that we have too many people in the building. The Time Away application helps with booking holidays and being on top of your vacation status. These are just 3 examples where the Power Platform helps to easily build applications that delight your colleagues or customers. I'm very interested to hear how you have used the Power Platform in your company or organization. With all this data and information being everywhere, with all these new applications being created, how do you keep up? How do you know what is available and where to access it? How to make sure that all that innovation reaches as many customers or colleagues as possible? Let's look at Microsoft Teams. Obviously, Teams usage has seen a massive spike in the first half of 2020, quadrupling versus 2019. But even since then, we further doubled the usage of Teams in Belgium and Luxembourg. And this goes beyond audio and video conferencing. By integrating applications directly into Teams channels or chats, you have one place to find those apps that matter to you. Teams is evolving from a collaboration hub into basically the operating system for your business. An example of that is how you can integrate document approval flows directly into a Teams chat. But also data sitting in non-Microsoft silos can be brought to the Teams user to treat, make a decision, or take action. Our partner Delaware, for instance, is helping some of the SAP customers unlock ERP data through Teams. It all comes together with the Microsoft Cloud. Azure as a foundation, powering platforms like GitHub and the Microsoft Power Platform. With on top our SaaS solutions, Microsoft 365, LinkedIn, and Dynamics 365. Leveraging the Microsoft Cloud across your solutions allows you to benefit from a shared identity, security management, and compliance plane, drastically simplifying the management of your environment while keeping them secure. But I want to end where I started, which is on the resilience we have seen from organizations that have a high technology intensity. Technology intensity comes down to 3 things. First, how you adopt the latest technology and integrate it into your organization. You don't want to be stuck recreating the wheel when you can access the latest technology that's been commoditized. Second, how you build your own unique digital capability. Organizations in all sectors of the economy will need a culture where all people are part of the innovation process and are able to learn, test, and then act on hypotheses. And finally, trust. Both trust in technology, but also trust in business model alignment. No customer wants to be dependent on a provider that sells them technology on one hand and competes with them on the other. You've got to get this equation right on all fronts. Technology intensity will determine not only what organizations can weather the current crisis, but also determine those that are prepared to navigate future events. Next, I'm very excited and very honored to share another success story with one of our customers. I recently spoke to Guido Lemaire, who is the CIO of NMBS SNCB, CEO of IPTO, and also CIO of the Year in 2020. Guido and I had a chat about the digital transformation of the Belgian railways and how the Belgian railways leverage technology to drive change. So let's have a look. Guido, I've prepared a couple of questions for you, and first of all, congratulations with your CIO of the Year title. It's a great testimony of everything you've done with the Belgian Railways, but not only yourself, but also the entire team. And obviously, I want to thank you for spending some time with us and with our many customers. Maybe kind of first question, can you tell us a little bit about the goals that the Belgian Railways want to achieve in their digital transformation?
Didier, I mean, at this stage, we are still running 6 transformations in parallel. First of all, is the split from Infrabelt, the historical network operator. At the same time, implementing a new IT reference architecture, which allows us to scale down the total cost of IT. Implement a new operating model which allows to speed up our digitalization. Within IT, we are shifting to really process-driven organization where still people make the difference. And one of the key components in that story is our cloud-first strategy. And then last but not least, of course, a full cultural shift. And we are all doing those 6 tracks in parallel, mainly with one goal, that's prepare the Belgian Railway Company for the future and the upcoming liberalization.
Can you share a couple of examples of things you have done that really change maybe the life of your customers, people that are using the train or in your stations every day?
One of the first things that we started with is an internal project, mainly internal focusing, that was eDrive. eDrive is the application used by our train drivers on a daily basis. We were coming from a situation in which almost 100% of train driving happened on paper, be it security messages, train reports, etc., etc. In less than 18 months, we fully digitalized that experience. And at the end, it has an active contribution to, on one hand, our internal customer satisfaction, but mainly on punctuality of trains. So it has a direct contribution also to our customers. Second example is RIV. In Dutch, it stands for Reizigersinfo, Info Voyageur. So our feedback, our information that we provide to all our customers, train manager, train drivers, and all personnel within the SNCB. And we are coming from a situation in which each front end, be it screens in a station, be it a mobile app, be it the tablet that a train manager uses, they all had different backends. And what we now did is we standardized all sources to one unique source, and that has a direct result on the fact that if you're looking on your app, a screen on in a station, or you request some info to a train manager, they will provide you the same kind of information and announce we have a 2 minutes delay, or we have a 1 minute delay, or we are on time. That was definitely not the case in the past. So there, RIV definitely was one of the big key projects. It's also fully cloud-based. I'm also thinking about Linda. Linda is an internal project. It stands for the new departure procedure. We had an incident a few years ago, and there was a formal request: improve the security of the departure procedure of a train. We reflected a lot upon how to do that. And what you now see is, and that's for the first time in the history of the Belgian Railway Company, train managers and train drivers communicate in real time using a shared application on how a train needs to leave a station. And it also makes use of a smartwatch. So it's a full digitalized interaction between key components. And what you see is that on one hand, again, punctuality increased, safety increased, and that's all by eliminating paper.
You already alluded to it in one of my previous questions. So we've worked quite intensively together in supporting your digital transformation. Can you share a little bit more about why partnering with Microsoft and why you've made that choice?
Like I mentioned earlier, it's a combination of cloud, a secure cloud. I mentioned also earlier, and if I'm going a little bit more on the technical side, security is really key for us. And what, for example, also is key for us is that, seeing the fact that we are national critical infrastructure, we need to ensure that at any given moment in time, trains are able to provide the service as requested. Site disaster recovery is key in that domain. For example, Microsoft has excellent solutions to allow different regions to go in disaster recovery setup, etc. If you look towards the flexibility which comes with mainly Office 365 and the way it speeds up the digitalization of your company, that advantage is really key. Because if you look just 3 years ago, we provided almost 9,000 people within SNCB for the first time with an email address. It sounds not so much important, but reaching out to those blue collars with an email address was a prerequisite to offer them 1 year later an application. And they became more digital acquainted. And that kind of approach is really one of the key reasons why we went for Microsoft as a partner. But also, if you look towards, also from a technical point of view, the way GDPR compliance can be handled, it's quite easy with Azure. And then last but not least, looking a little bit further in the future, everything related to power up development, the integration in the rest of the Microsoft suite, cloud and Office 365 comes with so many advantages that compared to other cloud operators, mainly the part of integration is significantly better.
Thank you. We've seen that digital digital companies have been more resilient in the context of COVID-19. We've also seen a lot of, to some extent, creativity and innovation in the last few months because of COVID-19. What has COVID-19 brought for your organization? Has it changed your plans? Has it accelerated your plans? Has it slowed down your plans? What's your take on this?
Two elements in the answer. If I'm having just an internal focus, I think, like for most companies who were on cloud and Office 365, you just increased the volume of your remote workers from day 1 to day 2. We went from Monday to Tuesday from an average of 1,500 remote workers to 6,000 remote workers without any problems. And what you saw is that where we, from an IT point of view, were preaching and teaching for the last 2 years how to use Teams, how to use Office 365, it now became almost nature in 1 week. So it increased the adaptation of tools in general. But what we also saw is that it changed certain elements in the IT roadmap and the roadmap of the SNCB. Like, for example, in March, we nowhere had an app like Move Safe on the landscape. And what you see is that like all public transport and aviation, also NCCB really suffers from COVID, and you see a massive drop in your train occupation. What we are now definitely accelerating is the digitalization of quite a lot of customer-facing front ends, but also revising our product portfolio. COVID, like I think for quite a lot of organizations, everybody was surprised. No contingency plan had foreseen it, but it forced us to speed up what we were already doing. So I see it rather as an accelerator than something that strikes us.
Thank you, Guido, for this conversation. Thank you for obviously everything you do also for us as a customer. Congratulations once again for your CIO of the Year title. And to our audience, I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Guido. At least I enjoyed a lot, and I'm really enjoying working with an organization that is so dynamic and so much into its digital transformation. Thank you again, Guido.
Thank you very much, Didier.
Good morning. I'm Patrick Waters, Customer Success Lead for Belgium and Luxembourg. I am delighted to welcome you to our Customer Success Week. Microsoft was known for decades as a software product company. Under the leadership of our CEO, Satya Nadella, we have transformed to a cloud services company. In line with Microsoft's mission statement, we want to become recognized as an organization obsessed with the success of our customers. Like many global players today, to become customer-centric, we constantly challenge ourselves, remove barriers, and bring a connected experience for our customers. To achieve this, Microsoft underwent a large transformation, putting in place the connected customer experience to make you, as our customer, more successful using Microsoft technology. We have defined and aligned on what being obsessed with customer success means and how we show this across teams, products, customer interactions, and the market with clear goals and measurements. For Microsoft, the connected customer experience is our inclusive journey towards customer success. The connected customer experience is designed around bringing together the different Microsoft motions, creating and delivering a coherent experience for each specific customer. Microsoft is typically engaged with customers in different initiatives, like, for example, modernization, digital transformation programs. These initiatives typically run in parallel and are orchestrated with customer stakeholders, partners, and multiple Microsoft teams. The goal is to connect that overall experience with our ongoing support initiatives, optimizing, learning, and improving the service delivery. All of these originate from core principles centered around you, the customer, by deeply understanding your organization, your challenges, and your business opportunities. To become more obsessed in you, we have brought people together in one customer success unit. Last year, the customer success account managers, known before as technical account managers, have joined forces with the cloud solutions architects and customer success managers in this organization. This year, we also welcomed the customer engineers, previously hosted in a Western European organization, for increased proximity and collaboration. We present the four main roles within our new customer success unit. First, the customer success account manager, or CSAM. Second, the cloud solutions architect, or CSA. Third, the customer success manager, or CSM. And finally, the customer engineer, or CE. The customer success account manager is really the master of ceremony, assigned once you have a Premier or Unified Support contract in place. This person is your first Microsoft Cloud Delivery contact point, from onboarding towards operations, ensuring we bring a connected experience throughout your cloud journey. This role is newly introduced this fiscal to drive that end-to-end connected customer experience. The other roles already existed. However, they are now centralized in one organization. Cloud Solutions Architects remain the thought leaders on Azure architecture across solutions areas, often with a strong industry background. They provide architectural leadership and quality assurance during Azure onboarding projects. Customer Success Managers are change management practitioners, helping you adopting the new ways of working in our modern collaboration platform, Microsoft 365. Customer Engineers are the in-depth experts, going to the root of technical deployment, configurations, and operational challenges, even supporting operational environments. We will introduce a couple of our colleagues so you get to understand each role a bit better.
My name is Jochem and I'm a Customer Success Account Manager at the Microsoft office in Belgium. As a Customer Success Account Manager, or CSAM as we call it, we are basically the single point of orchestration for all delivery, operational related topics, where we basically make sure that the customer is helped in the best way possible, that they achieve their outcomes by engaging all the different Microsoft stakeholders that we can engage with the customer and that are relevant for the customer. Think about Microsoft partners, Microsoft consulting services, even up to the engineers back in the US.
I'm Andrew, and I'm working as a customer engineer at Microsoft. We are customer engineers. First of all, we are engineers, so we are quite technical. We help our product groups to understand how our customers working with our technology, what they are using, what issues do they have.
I'm Peter, working as Cloud Solution Architect within Customer Success Organization. Cloud Solution Architect, for me personally, it's about guiding and supporting our customer in the best way possible on their journey towards the Azure Cloud and using Microsoft Azure services in the best way possible.
My name is Elsa Lemoine. I'm Customer Success Manager at Microsoft for Modern Work Solutions. I help companies into their digital transformation that is pretty accelerating now due to COVID situation. So what we do, in few words, is to maximize the value of the customer's investment on Microsoft 365 solutions. And how do we do it? It's by one, helping them into everything related to adoption and change management. And second is to share with them the features and the usages related to Teams and specifically related to meetings and as well the integration of application and business processes into the platform.
In my honest opinion, I think that in this cloud-first world, customer success can only be achieved by first and foremost to listen to our customers, and then secondly, by helping them to remove technical blockers, by working on strategic projects. And that's something that's really cool. If in the end they can achieve a solution for their problems, not only on the technical side, but also from a business side.
Each morning, I'm curious to see how I will help my customer today and what they do with our technologies.
For me, it's important to make a difference in my role because I can only be successful if my customers are successful. So that's why I need to go the extra mile if needed to get to that success.
I love my job because my role is to make you customers successful, and this relies with the motto of Microsoft to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more.
Last year, you might have attended the Microsoft Services Day in Belgium, targeted at IT and business decision makers interested to learn the latest and greatest of the Microsoft solution stack. This year, our rebranded event is called Customer Success Week, renamed in line with the organizational transformation. The Customer Success Week builds on the proven setup of the Services Day, offering an increased amount of sessions throughout the full week across the 5 pillars. Those 5 pillars are data and AI, apps and infra, modern workplace, business applications, and finally security. The general theme across these sessions are the key learnings we realized when deploying and managing these cloud solutions with our customers. So we focus on what makes you more successful when deploying these solutions. Of course, we won't shy away from sharing new and future platform evolutions, but this year we have opted for a full week to allow you to choose your own sessions based on your availability and interest. Especially during COVID-19 times, we were anticipating that having a limited amount of sessions per day would delight more than having a full day packed agenda. For each content track, you will find 1 to maximum 3 sessions per day. As you can see, there is quite an agenda with very interesting sessions open for everybody to attend. And most of these sessions are of a technical nature. Some sessions have a business focus. More details for each session can be found within the agenda document shared on the public Customer Success Week website. In the document, we provide a short summary on the scope of the session, an indication if it's a more technical-oriented session or a more business-oriented session, together with speaker and timing information. Important remark, for privacy reasons, the sessions will not be recorded. However, we will collect all presentations on a central repository for later reference. I want to close my introduction by wishing you a great Customer Success Week. But before doing that, I would like to remind you of 3 key takeaways. First, you can join any session by clicking on the links documented in the daily calendar reminder, sent to your mailbox the day before at 10 p.m. Second, if you want to schedule your upcoming learning week, you can always access the agenda at our event website. And finally, for further questions, you can reach us at customersuccessweek@microsoft.com. Please let us know your feedback on the sessions and the overall initiative. Success! But before we go, let's listen to Katrien on how we leverage AI for good at Microsoft. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Katrien. Next to my day job of working with customers and partners to optimize architectures leveraging Microsoft cloud technologies, we here at Microsoft Belux were involved in what I would call a very special project. In the last 2.5 years, we have been part of Canvas TV show Teams Here. This show is a fantastic match to fully underlying Microsoft's values as a company and enabling the employees to make an impact in society. The show is all about solving problems with the help of technology, and most cases are around accessibility and inclusion. I'd like to pick 2 of the 4 use cases we supported over the show's 2 past seasons. Let's start with first season, where we find Monique, a blind woman who wanted to independently be able to take photos. For this challenge, we researched how we could leverage software and especially machine learning to help Monique identify what was around her, help her set the scene, as well as some aids for aligning the photograph. How we achieved this was based on collaboration and openness of a bunch of people. We were able to leverage source code from a specialized Microsoft app for the low-sighted called Seeing AI. Some of my peers from Belgium joined a Microsoft US-based hackathon, and after a week of hacking, they returned back to Belgium with a half-ready answer to Monique's challenge. Our management allowed extra flexibility in the day job. Many of us spent evenings and sometimes the night progressing on this. In the end, Monique was helped with a customized version of Seeing AI just for her. Another example, now going into season 2 of Teams Here, was the challenge of helping out Lola, a 13-year-old student immigrated from Nigeria and eager to follow normal classes in Flemish. We started the project by conducting a design thinking workshop before any line of code was written. Then, a month later, we had 2 teams of Belgian colleagues dedicate 3 days during the Microsoft Hackathon. The creativity and vibe that comes up during such a team effort is really amazing. I saw colleagues helping out programming, but I was even more amazed by the dedication and drive of colleagues without a technical background. diving into new technology, such as low-code Power Apps, and build parts of the solution for Season 2. It's amazing to be able to create new solutions together and deliver something that is able to change the lives of people in an impactful way.